Hey everybody, hope you're good. If you're new around here, my name is Abby. Hi, how you doing? So today I actually wanted to talk about something along the skincare section of my channel. So it's actually to do with my personal experience with this particular product. So if you are not new to my channel, then you will know already that I have acne prone skin. I have hyperpigmentation. I also have a little bit of texture around my cheeks, a few pores that are a bit more visible than I'd like them to be. And yeah, I think I've spoken about it in a few videos where I have mentioned that I have had acne since I was a teenager, and it's basically followed me throughout my adult life. I think the only break I actually had from acne is probably during pregnancy, coincidentally. And I know for some people that can actually be the time where their acne is actually a lot worse than it should be. So my pregnancy was actually the time where my skin was probably at its clearest, and also shortly after, a couple of months after pregnancy as well, my skin stayed clear. So I was actually confident enough to actually leave the house without any makeup, which is rare. It's been rare throughout my whole life, let me just say that. So as a teenager, just to give you a quick background, so as a teenager I had really bad acne. It was so bad that it was basically like a mask around my whole face, and apart from like my eyes and I don't know, I guess my nose area, it was basically like dotted, different sizes, different types of acne all over my face. And it got better as I got older. So as I went into uni, so as I turned 18, it calmed down significantly, and then I started introducing things into my skincare routine, if you could call it that, at that age. And I experimented with a lot of things, and I found that I could get it under control. Also, I started taking birth control, so that also helped a lot. That was the first thing I asked my doctor to put me on, because I heard that it could really help with controlling acne. So I think that actually took the edge off a lot. So speeding through to my early adult life, where I learned a little bit more about skincare, and then I started introducing different things into my skincare routine. And then fast forward a little bit more, I started my YouTube channel a couple of years ago, and as I learned more, as I watched more YouTube videos, as I watched more YouTube, more skincare specialists, shall I call them, or skincare enthusiasts, channels where people looked like they actually knew what they were talking about. So as I watched more of those, I took note of what they were recommending and applied a lot of that into my skincare routine, and I find that that's gotten me to the point where I am right now, where I do still get acne, but it is not taking over my life, basically. So if you've seen my naked skin, you've seen that, the majority of it is quite clear. I do still have this persistent area in the corner, like the jawline area, where I do still get the acne, just like little pimples here and there, and possibly around my neck area as well. But that's about it so far. So in my whole entire life, that this is like the best my skin has been. But I am not happy. I'm not 100% happy, simply because I know there is better out there. And I know, since I do know a bit more about skincare now, I do know there is the product I'm about to talk about, which is actually called Tretinoin. So I know that that's out there. It has so many benefits for the skin, and me being in my 30s, it also has the anti-aging benefit as well. So I thought, yes, this is a one-size-fits-all. It's something that I need to get onto, and I wish it was something I knew when I was younger, because this could have saved me so much agony, so much anguish, so much embarrassment, so much, I don't even know. It just affected my mood, that on top of hormones, being a teenager, it was just like a very dangerous combination. So acne really did take the edge off my whole life, my whole teenage experience. It was just, it wasn't great at all. And to be the only one actually not the only one, I was the one who had it the worst out of all my friends, and I was the one who still had it as an adult. All my friends do not have acne anymore, even though we all dabbled in it as teenagers. I'm still the one who battled acne probably the most. So everybody else, the skin has cleared up and they've forgotten about that horrible dark time in their life, and I'm still dealing with it. I'm still living that nightmare. So hence why I was desperate to find something that would actually work for my skin. So over the years, I have heard the name tretinoin, retinol, and all sorts of similar things being thrown around, so I did a bit more research, and as I got to know more, I jumped onto the bandwagon. And the first retinol products that I tried, and just to give you a quick breakdown, so retinol, I just made up a word. So retinol and tretinoin all belong into under the same umbrella of a family of products called retinoids. And yeah, so if you've ever been confused, it's because they're all forms of retinoids. There's so many different forms. I'm not, a skincare specialist at all, so I can't tell you all the options that there are out there. All I can tell you about are the ones that I know or what I've tried. So the first products that and they're all a form of vitamin A, by the way. So the first product I tried, which was a retinoid ester, I believe, and that was a product from The Ordinary. I think that was their 0.2% emulsion, and that's like the least potent form. So I used that and it was fine. I didn't think it did much for my skin, so I moved on to the 0.5%. And that was another retinoid emulsion or something. I'm pretty sure they changed the names of one of them in between my using it. So I used that again. I found that it definitely helped calm down my skin a bit more. I got less acne. But then because I knew that they actually had their line of retinol, which is a lot more potent than the esters, I think I jumped straight onto the 0.5% retinol straight from the retinoid emulsion that I was using. So I used the 0.5% retinol, and I used, I think, 2 bottles of that, and then again I saw improvements in my skin, the texture, the bounce, the glow. Everything was starting to make sense. So I used that for a while, and for I think over a year, maybe 2 years, possibly even more, I have been on the 1% retinol, and that's their strongest, and that is the strongest form of retinol you can get over the counter without a prescription. So I've used that for the longest time, and luckily for my skin, while I've used all of them, I have not had a single adverse reaction. And I know some people find it really difficult to use retinol because it does have some pretty terrible side effects for some people. So if you have sensitive skin, you'd need to use things like niacinamide or a good thick layer of moisturizer before you use the retinol to actually act as a barrier, because retinol works by speeding up the skin, the cell turnover in your skin. So by doing that, it actually helps to get rid of hyperpigmentation. It helps to clear rough texture in your skin, and it also obviously lets the fresh skin underneath shine through. So yeah, so by doing that as well, it also clears your pores, so it keeps your pores clear. Also by that, it deals with acne, which acne usually is formed when you do get gunk built up in your pores with sebum and dirt and everything else. So yeah, retinol is one of those magical ingredients that I wish I knew when I was younger. If I had known, my skin will probably be clear by now, who knows. So yeah, that's my journey using retinol. So as I said, retinol belongs under the umbrella of products called retinoids, but then there is also like the big gun, which is tretinoin. So that's far more potent than retinol. So like I said, I knew about tretinoin, but from what I've heard, it was obviously more potent than retinol. So I was very intimidated by it. So I thought, let me just stick to my retinol. I know my skin can handle it. It doesn't react in a bad way at all. It's good for my skin. That lasted up until I think I started getting another flare-up of acne, and I just thought, what, right, that's it. I need to get onto the strong stuff. I need the good stuff. I need to amp this up so that I can never need to worry about acne ever again. Or at least that's the whole idea. So I actually remember there was a video that Wayne Goss did a while back, and he mentioned that he was using tretinoin. So I watched the video all over again, and then I remembered he used a brand called Dermatica. So Dermatica is an online brand. I think it's like it's a dermatologist based brand, like online, where you can get online prescriptions. And so you have to send in your picture and, you know, fill out a form, a detailed form and everything, you know, fill out your whole life history basically, just so that they know that they can give you the right prescription for your condition. So he mentioned this brand Dermatica, and I also watched a couple YouTube videos where people had used their service, and Dermatica worked by charging I think 20 something pounds, maybe 22 pounds for a prescription. And you fill out the form, you tell them what your skin concerns are, and they'll give you a prescription in the mail, and it's a repeat prescription. So every month, or possibly you can change the frequency of the prescriptions. Every month is when you usually get a new prescription. So I signed up to mine, and at the time there was a delay, so there was a 2-week waiting list by the time I signed up to it. So when my prescription finally did arrive, I looked at the ingredients, and it came in this this box here. So this is how it arrived. And the thing with the Dermatica is, I think as far as I know, that they're the only way you can get prescription tretinoin in the UK. I mean, I've never thought to go to my GP. I mean, I know this is available and this is within my reach. So obviously during the pandemic as well, I didn't want to bother my GP with a, I don't know, minor case of acne when there's people dying out there. So I thought I'd deal with this myself, but I don't know if you can get this through your GP in the UK. So I got this through Dermatica, and when mine arrived, it comes with a little pamphlet, and it tells you everything you need to know about your prescription. And I believe you do have an online account which you can use to like check your notes and update your pictures as well. Within the prescription box, it tells you what you've actually received. My first prescription was tretinoin, and it's 0.025%, and that sounds like a very small amount. Like, it's not even 1%, it is a quarter of 1%. So that's how powerful this stuff is. So mine has 0.025% tretinoin, then it has 4% niacinamide and 1% clindamycin, and this is a 15 ml container. So it looks like this when it arrives. So it's a really pretty small tube, but the thing with this is that you are supposed to use about like literally a pea size. You do not go in with a lot. You basically use one pump and use it all over your face. It does contain information about what tretinoin does and how you're meant to care for your skin. So I'm not going to bore you with all the details. So yeah, clindamycin, by the way, is an antibacterial. Antibiotic. And what's so good about this prescription is that obviously it's tailored to your skin. So they've taken into consideration everything I filled out when I was filling out my form. And just to confirm, it just gives you a little summary. I mean, you get like a leaflet that's about this big with a lot of information on it, and it tells you about the side effects of tretinoin as well. So like I said, you can get severe actually, I don't think I've even mentioned it. So with tretinoin, you can get severe dryness, flaking of the skin, itchy skin. You can get even more acne than what you had before during like the first stages, because what it does is that it's obviously clearing through your pores, and it's also speeding through in terms of your skin turnover, your cell turnover. So what you're gonna get is all that flaring up. So it does take a long time for your skin to settle down into what it hopefully should be your final stage. So in terms of like the adjustment period, it can take, I think it says up to 8 weeks or so for it to finally settle down. So that's roughly about 2 months. Not that it will do that for everybody, but for me, I am just over a month in. I think I'm at my 5-week stage now, and yeah, so I'm still dealing with some of that like flare up. So yeah, so it just says here that tretinoin is a retinoid that reduces comedones, papules and pustules, and it's suited for long-term maintenance therapy. So niacinamide treats pimples, spots, and spots by its anti-inflammatory activity, which reduces swelling, redness and tenderness. Niacinamide is not an antibiotic. It is related to an essential vitamin in our diet, vitamin B3. And clindamycin is an antibiotic. It limits the growth of bacteria associated with acne and inflammation caused by fight these bacteria. So that's really all you need to know, and then it tells you about how you should use it. And obviously this stuff is not recommended for anybody who is pregnant as well. Really important thing that you need to consider as well with this is that you need to definitely up your game when it comes to using sunscreen. Anytime we're talking about retinoids or anything active, you really should be using sunscreen if you weren't already. So this is also for nighttime use. So this is also for nighttime use only. You can't use it during the day because like your skin is pretty sensitive, so at least that time there's less chance of it being reactive to the sun. So I hope I haven't jumped around too much, but I will show you 2 clips of my 2-week stage and my 4-week stage. So the thing with my reaction to tretinoin, at least this combination of ingredients in my prescription, is that within the first week I actually thought I was like plain sailing, having a good time. I felt like it was already helping with the spots that I already had, and at that time I didn't actually experience a flare-up of any sort. Fast forward to about 2 weeks and I started getting new pimples, like little pimples on like my jawline, and then those came and went. It's funny because I'd get like a couple spots, and then by the next day some of them would have gone, then the next day some of them would come back and bring some new friends along, and then like 2 days later some of them would have gone, and it just carried on. But yeah, like I said, I'll show you. Hopefully you'd have seen some shots of what my skin looked like, and I was also starting to get acne, like little pimples in my this section of my neck, and that's something that I used to deal with a long time ago. I haven't had it recently, so yeah, that came back. And then as of like the 3-4 week mark, I started noticing like little pimples on my forehead. So that's something I haven't had in a long time. So that's because I know I have hormonal acne. So that's what my biggest problem with my acne is, that it's always around my jawline. So usually they say, and dermatologists say, that that's usually a sign of hormonal acne, and that could be anything. That's one of the hardest types of acne to get rid of, because it's to do with your hormones, your mood, stress levels, sugar intake, and genes, anything really. So it's really hard to pinpoint, so you just have to kind of manage it. So my experience with tretinoin, like I said, in the first week I thought I was plain sailing, nothing really happened. I thought, oh, this is going to be great, because I had this confidence because I had been using 1% retinol for ages and never had an issue. So I was hoping that my skin was resilient enough to not have to have flare-ups or to have like a reaction to this. When it came to about the 2-week mark, that's when it started showing me its presence and causing like flare-ups of acne. And like I said, one of the drawbacks of using tretinoin is that it can make your acne worse before it makes it better. So do brace yourself, which is why I decided to pull the trigger and try this during the lockdown, because I know I'm not going into work, and I know if the worst does happen and I get like huge bumps of acne, I don't have to see anybody. I am at home. I don't have to worry about people looking at me on the train wondering what's wrong with my skin, or people asking me if I'm alright. So yeah, I thought this would be the best time. If I'm going to do it, I have to do it now or never. So yeah, that's what's happened to my skin so far. And then I'm at my 5-week stage now. So the 4 week into the 5-week mark wasn't really too different. The only thing is I still continue to get like spots in my jaw area, which is where I had spots anyway, but I was getting more than I would get usually. So that's how I know that I'm obviously having some kind of reaction to this, and that is also expected, so do not be scared. What I think helped me in terms of my skincare routine is basically cutting out any active ingredients. So I in the first week I was still, you know, I was still a bit cocky with my skincare routine, so I was using salicylic acid on top of my tretinoin, which you're not really supposed to do. So I was using my salicylic acid serum just to deal with the spots, because I thought, you know, the tretinoin isn't doing much. You know, it's not that it's not doing much, it's working, but it's not causing my skin to flare up, so I can hopefully help it out by using salicylic acid. Usually you're told to not do that. So one thing you're supposed to bear in mind is that you're meant to stick to the tretinoin only, and just make sure that your skin is properly hydrated. So one of the things that I think definitely helped me, like I said, in my skincare routine, aside from trying to be silly and use salicylic acid, is to once I realized it was wrong, to cut out any actives. So what you want to do is keep your skincare routine pretty simple. You want to concentrate on moisturization, keeping your skin hydrated, and really not disturbing it. Let the tretinoin do its work, and it's going to be a slow, long road. Yeah, so just bear that in mind. From all the videos I've seen, I'm yet to see somebody use this over, say, the space of a month, 2 months, and not have some kind of reaction. Nearly every video I've seen, people have had, you know, different levels of reactions to this tretinoin. So then the next thing, despite what it says on the pamphlet, here it says you're meant to clean your skin and apply the tretinoin directly onto your skin. Because I'd already seen other people's videos on their experience with tretinoin, I knew that I would have to basically go in with a barrier. So I'd have to moisturize my skin first. And what I did, basically to lessen the impact and to lessen, you know, like the dry, itchy flare-ups that, and, you know, the dry itchiness and everything else that comes with using this cream, I knew that I had to use basically moisturize my skin first before applying tretinoin. So what I would do is cleanse my skin with a pretty simple cleanser, remove my makeup if I have been wearing makeup, and going with the hydrating toner to cut out all the actives. And so I just concentrated on moisturization and hydration. So I would then use my rose toner, followed by my niacinamide, or my ordinary niacinamide serum, and I will top that up with my Hada Labo Go-To-Tron Premium hyaluronic acid serum, and then top that up with my moisturizer, and then let that settle for like 5 minutes, and then take a pump, or maximum a pump and a half of this, and I would rub it into my hand. Possibly sometimes I would even add an extra drop of hyaluronic acid and an extra drop of niacinamide into that mixture, just to create as big as a buffer as I can for my skin. I just rub it together, and that also actually helped the cream, prescription cream, spread out a lot more evenly. So I'd rub it out onto my skin. I try to avoid my mouth area because that's an area that is quite sensitive, more prone to like peeling and dryness. I did do that by mistake a couple of times, and when I woke up the next day, it looked like it was starting to get a bit crusty. So yeah, you just want to make sure you avoid your mouth area. You definitely want to avoid your eye area, but everywhere else, just make sure you apply the cream. Yeah, so just apply the cream in this section here, your forehead, leave the eye area, leave the mouth area, and anywhere else, like maybe around your chin. So that's what I did. So I used that after my moisturizer, despite the fact that in the instructions you're supposed to use it onto clean, fresh skin. And I did that just to stop me having a really bad reaction to it, because people that had done that, who went straight in and then tried to, you know, put moisturizer on top, felt like their skin was having a really bad, you know, reaction. So yeah, that's what I've done so far. So I'm at my 5-week stage now, and I feel like my skin is actually starting to calm down. Now, the caveat to this is that I have actually received my second prescription, and just to add as well, my first prescription, they actually had an offer where my first prescription was free. So it's, despite the fact that it was meant to be charged at £22 or so, I only paid for shipping, so the £22 or so was free, and my second prescription was actually where I paid full price. So that was a really good offer at the time. So now I have my second prescription, And what I have realized is that my second prescription actually has a slightly different it's slightly different. So my second prescription actually has a slightly different amount of tretinoin in here. So I think what they do is that they stack this up, so you go up a notch every single time they send you out a new prescription. So my second prescription has tretinoin 0.05%, clindamycin is still 1%, and niacinamide is still 4%. So now I'm a bit scared because I know my skin is actually finally starting to level out a bit. I have a few small spots still left on my cheeks. Another thing to bear in mind is also that the spots weren't necessarily like whiteheads, they were just spots that came and went, so they weren't like leaving scars on my skin, thankfully, but they were just like flaring up and going, flaring up and going. Like rarely did I get hyperpigmentation from the spots that I got as a result of using tretinoin, which is really weird. So I feel like it kind of giveth and taketh away, but that's kind of my experience. So yeah, back to this. The fact that now this new prescription is 0.5% worries me a little bit, because it is the next stage and it's double my first prescription, and seeing how my skin reacted to the first prescription, I just don't know if now that I'm starting to get a bit more settled, if it's gonna flare up again. But again, I will document this, but I just wanted to at least show you what my first month-ish of using tretinoin is like, and yeah, and my experience with Dermatica. I think what you're supposed to also do in your account is to update your pictures as well, just so they know how you are doing. So I'm yet to do that, but I will do that pretty soon. So I just wanted to let you guys know what my experience is so far. It hasn't been bad, and I can still wear makeup, as you can see, but if I look closely, I'm pretty sure you can see where I have spots. Yeah, and just a few here and there, but it's not the worst. And yeah, this is not the worst case of like reaction that I've seen or flare up as a result of using tretinoin. So I feel like I kind of by applying this product the way that I have, I feel like I've kind of dodged a bullet. It could have been a lot worse, just judging by what I've seen on YouTube and seen other people's experience with this. But yeah, just wanted to let you know, just in case you were thinking of trying it. If you are in the UK and you're wondering how you can get your hands on tretinoin, you don't need to try and get it off the black market, or I don't know, try and get it off China, AliExpress, Wish or anything. Get it from a reputable brand. And this is not sponsored, by the way. I'm only letting you know because of my experience, and I find that this is really helpful. It's tailored to my skin, and yeah, they're giving me the right amount, which hopefully I should stack up to 1% tretinoin at some point. But yeah, I find that this is working. I hope it's working, because I feel like my skin, the texture is as soft as I expect it to be. I'm finding it interesting. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, even though I'm having a few flare-ups here and there. So yeah, so that's my experience so far. Hope you found this informative. If you did, please don't forget to like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, if you want to find out how I get on with this, or if you like any other videos on my channel. I do tend to focus more on makeup on the affordable side, and also beauty in terms of skincare on the affordable side as well as hair care here and there. So if you like that, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss another one of my videos. So until next time, have a great morning, afternoon, evening or night wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.